All right. Hey guys, how's it going? It's Joy. I am back again with another video. I hope that you guys are doing well and I hope that you guys are staying safe. Today, you guys, I did just kind of want to talk a little bit about something that I was thinking about for quite some time. You guys know that most of us victims and survivors, we are, could be empaths, might be HSP, you may be introverted, you may be a star seed, you may be an indigo child. Um, maybe for some you may be antisocial or you could be socially awkward. Um, Not saying it like that, but it just might be a little difficult for you to, connect with others or, when it's in social settings for it to be kind of like natural and for it to flow. So, but also too, you could have had a point where, you had an experience when dealing with a narcissist and you some way somehow have a pattern or a habit of whether it's attracting narcissists or narcissists are attracted to you. And it's sort of a dynamic where it's like the empath and a narc type of deal. So I just kind of want to talk a little bit more about having some boundaries if you are an empath when it comes to dealing with negative, toxic, unhealthy people. And I did have my little list and I wanted to make sure I didn't forget anything. But the other thing is too, you guys, I did get this inspiration from Instagram. So make sure that you guys do follow me on Instagram at LiveNarcFree. All right. I do make posts on there. So, just that way you don't miss anything. And if this is you guys' first time watching, again, my name is Joy and I am a narcissist abuse coach. I help victims and survivors heal, move on, and recover after dealing with narcissistic abuse. All right, so I just thought I'd get that out the way. So let's just go ahead and get right into it, you guys. And I would love for you guys to kind of chime in and let me know which of these boundaries you're going to implement, which of these boundaries maybe you agree or maybe you don't agree with, or just would like to hear you guys' feedback overall. Okay, so we're going to be talking about a list of boundaries for empaths. So the first boundary that you want to make sure that you implement as an empath is you want to make sure it's always okay for you to say no. I know a lot of us victims and survivors of narcissistic abuse or empaths, we may have a difficult time saying no, or it may make us feel uncomfortable. We may be former people pleasers or maybe recovery people pleasers or doormats or what is the other one? It's the doormat people please. Oh, pushover. Yeah, you might be a recovery pushover and stuff like that, and you don't want to rock the boat or you don't want to make people feel, just maybe you don't want to make them upset at you. You want to just make everybody happy, which is nothing wrong with making people happy, but you just want to make sure you're happy too at the end of the day. You get me? So you just want to make sure that you can get used to or get comfortable with saying no and not feeling guilty or not feeling bad about it, because that is definitely something that a lot of people do feel guilty for saying no. So yeah. So the next thing is that you just want to remember that it's not your job to fix the life of other people. Yeah, you can be a support. Yeah, you can help others. You could give advice, feedback, mentorship, which is kind of like what I do myself. But I'm never the type of person where I actually used to do this before. I used to try to fix people. I used to try to change people many years ago, dealing with the narcissist back in 2014, 2015. I used to think like, oh, if I'm in their life, then they could change, or, if they were a player or something that they could, because I'm in their life, that they wouldn't be a player. Like, back when I was dealing with the narc, he told me that he was single at first, but then he ended up having a girlfriend at the end of the day. And I think I was like 20, 21 at the time. And I thought that I could change that, but you have to remember that when a person kind of reveals to you, their cards, you have to kind of accept it. I mean, some people may change as they grow old and mature, but if you're dealing with a narcissist, 9 times out of 10, they're not going to change, so just kind of keep in mind that it's not really your job to fix others, and that's a boundary that you should set, and I do understand that some of us, victims and survivors, recoveries, whether, you're a doormat or you could be a pushover, a people pleaser, that could be your love language. You could show up in relationships because you're like, man, excuse me, you could be like, I really want to fix this person. I see so much potential in them. I know that they could do better, and I could see the good in them, and that could be the way that you feel needed in a relationship. And so you just kind of want to keep in mind that, it's not really your job to fix others. It's their job to fix themselves, right? So the next thing is that you just want to make sure that a boundary set is that you need to remember that you don't need to anticipate their needs, if that makes sense. So, anticipate is basically saying like, imagining or, expecting something to happen, in regards to that person, or it's like anticipating their needs in the future, or, like expecting, you know, um, certain things from them, or, you know, um, having certain expectations in regards to a particular person. Like, yeah, it's good to have certain standards and expectations, but you shouldn't anticipate their needs. Like, of course you have your own needs, but that's something that they should be able to do, you know what I mean, at the end of the day. So yeah, you definitely just want to make sure that you don't anticipate their needs, especially for like the near future, because they should be able to do that. So the next thing is that you want to make sure that as a boundary for an empath, you want to make sure that you don't need to dissect people's feelings. That's something that they should be doing from within. It's not your job to do that. Like, you're not a mind reader, you're not like a fortune teller, or, people should be able to express themselves and tell you what it is that they're feeling. So it's not your job to do that for them. So that's a boundary, that you should set, whether it's with a partner, a friend, a coworker, or an associate, anybody, a sibling. You definitely just want to make sure that you have that boundary. Yeah, don't feel the need to dissect the feelings of others. They should be able to, or like analyze, everything. I know, or it could be like a overthinking type of deal. Like, some people, we do overthink, that's a normal thing, but to dissect it, it's just like, if they're not, openly telling you, then it's just kind of, you shouldn't have to go out of your way or do extra, thinking about it. They should open up and tell you, right? All right, so the next thing is you just want to keep in mind that, as a boundary for an empath, is that it is not your responsibility. Oh, excuse me. It is your responsibility to express yourself. So that is your responsibility, and that is a boundary that you should have. Now, if you are not really comfortable, or you're not used to expressing yourself, then maybe you just want to start small, and that could be where you express yourself to trusted friends or family members, or maybe you express yourself or feelings to like maybe a therapist or coach or a counselor or something like that, somebody that you feel like you can trust, somebody that you feel like that won't judge you or make you feel bad or anything like that. You know what I mean? And stuff like that. So yeah, you just want to make sure that if you don't know how to express yourself now, that you learn how to express yourself. Because when you're in relationships and you're connecting with others, again, people can't read your mind. They don't know how you're feeling. So it's your job and it's your responsibility to share that with that individual person. You get me? All right, and that's a boundary. And that person should be able to do the same thing as well. And then the next thing is that as a boundary, you should know that, your worthiness is not tied to helping or doing, and that's something that I didn't really learn up until a couple years ago. Excuse me. I used to feel like, my worthiness was tied to, helping others and doing, like, yeah, it's a sense of fulfillment. But at the end of the day, it's like, that doesn't really define me. You get me? Just like, whether if you have a mental illness or you have a mental health challenge or concern or issue, that does not define you either. That doesn't determine your worthiness. Your worthiness is based off of like how you feel about yourself and, who you are, in connection like with your God and with your creator. Like, we're God's children, for those of you that do believe in God, and we're worthy just because we're here, we're born, we're alive, that's where we're worthy already because of that, not because of anything that we're doing for people, or not because of like if we're helping others and stuff like that. It's just like we're just deserving, like it's our birthright to be worthy, you know? So yeah. And then and you guys could let me know. I would like to know like your feedback. Do you guys agree, disagree? Do you feel like, you know, are you already setting these boundaries when it comes to you and others, or you and narcissists, or family members, or friends, associates, and stuff like that? I would love to hear. All right, and then the next thing is that as a boundary, you know, for empaths, is you want to make sure that you can take breaks, you know, or you could walk away or just not attend. And that kind of relates to saying no, because sometimes us empaths, we may overwork ourselves and may be overwhelming, um, you know, or it's like our energy gets drained, or we get tired, or we get fatigued and stuff like that. You know, so just always just keep in mind just to take a break and make sure you're taking care of yourself, getting enough sleep, drinking enough water, having a nutritious, balanced diet, stuff like that. Or it could just be walking away, whether it's from a particular opportunity, a relationship, a family situation, or whatever the case is, or just not attending. Just like maybe somebody may invite you to go somewhere and it's just like, oh no, I'm okay, maybe next time or whatever. You know, it's okay to say no or not to attend, right? All right, and then the last thing is that, and I kind of talk about this on a few of my videos, but your energy, just understanding that your energy is your responsibility. You know, it's not the responsibility of anyone else. Um, so yeah, my light just kind of turned off. So sorry about that, y'all. But just understand that your energy is your responsibility, and that no one else. So that in a way that can kind of free you up from being dependent on others. Like maybe you could look for others to give you energy, or you could look for others um, to make you feel a certain way. But remember that all comes from within, you know, and you could get that from the inside instead of looking from validation from the outside. So hopefully that does make sense. I would love to know you guys' feedback. Let me know if this resonates, and if any of you guys are planning on implementing any of these boundaries, or if you are already implementing these boundaries currently. I would really love to know. So anyway, I love you guys so much. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next video. Take care.